Welcome back to the Bryan Devore Connection. I'm your host, Bryan Devore. A hands-on approach to home care. That's what you can expect to get with Aaron Home Care. And here to talk about Aaron Home Care is Aaron Laney, the owner of Aaron. That's a lot of Aarons. Is Aaron Laney with Aaron Home Care. How you doing today, Aaron?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm glad you're here. So obviously, you know, what's in a name? Well, what's in the name of the company is your name. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But I'm glad you're here to talk about your company. A little different because you have your name in your company. Why did how did that come to be?
So my wife really, that was her idea, which is always the origin of grand ideas.
Yeah.
But it's really because I'm very involved, and I want the clients to know that they will know me, I will be in the home, and that there's accountability, that they will always be able to reach me. I give all my clients and the families my cell phone number. I meet them and I build relationships over years, and I really try to guide through the process. So I will be there for the consultation, but I'll also be in there periodically as things change and progress. Things change through the end of life, and I want to make sure that we are upholding our end, but also guiding and giving advice on how we can best help the clients moving forward.
That's great. So we're going to talk about some of those services you provide in just a moment. Let's go back in time a little bit. How did you get involved with home care, and tell me about the growth of that journey for you?
So my very first experience was worked at a summer camp for people with developmental disabilities, which is highlighted on the Netflix documentary Crip Camp. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, that's great.
It's amazing. It's really amazing,
out.
and that kind of sparked the disability movement. But the people there, it's really phenomenal documentary. In the documentary, it says the camp closed. It reopened a second generation with people that were deinstitutionalized, and that's when I went and worked there. And it was really, I was studying environmental science in college, and I thought, let's go to a summer camp. And then it just opened my eyes to human services. I had a incredible summer and went back, and that really sparked where I went in the future.
Got it. So. And when you started your journey through home care, you were back east, I believe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then I worked in D.C. after college and after working for several years with people with disabilities. D.C. was actually fined $11 million for abuse and neglect of the people in their community.
Oh, wow.
And with that money, they opened a nonprofit advocacy group, and I was one of the first hired, and we created. It was a good experience in that when something is so bad, such a crisis, they brought in really national experts, and I was really trained on best practices, human services. So we created a monitoring and advocacy system that's still in use today.
Wow.
To really go out there, but it's tough. You know, you're a cog in a wheel of a huge system in DC, and I thought, you know, I really know how to do it. I've been trained. I work with people personally. I really value what the caregivers do, and I can help train and guide them. So let me open my own and take care of my village.
Got it. So you started your own company, and when was that?
So I started my own company in 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been a while now, and you've gotten a lot of runway now. We talked about the Medicaid waiver. You created a program for that too?
Oh, that was back in DC.
Oh, God, that was back
in DC with the Medicaid waiver program. So here,
Got it. Okay.
But we've gone through different. I really come from the background of caring for people, and so the business lessons were really what I had to learn. So I learned a lot of business. So we've gone through different iterations, and there was a point where, I mean, you have, 100 caregivers. You're just behind. You can't get out of the office. So
right.
I got bogged down by paperwork, which is good. I mean, we make sure everyone is fully licensed, trained, up to date on all the certifications. It's just a lot of office work. So I have reached over time. I learned to restructure the business again, where all that back end support is covered. That's a lot. What my wife is doing a lot on the back end.
That's what I was gonna say,
she's helping, but it really enables me. So we've really redone it so that I really am out in the field again, and that's what it's all about, customer service. So I know my clients. I can't think of a industry more important to have excellent customer service and to really use my experience of over 20 years now to help guide these families and guide the caregivers and be a support for the caregivers. A lot of times, there's just a lot of training and nuance and individualized training that it's important for me to be there.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Well,
yeah.
and I went to your website, and you're all over, which is great. I see you speaking to people, and probably doing some training with families. So you are kind of all over the place because your name is there, and so you are accountable, like you said.
Yeah.
Because when your name is right there, like Devore Realty Group, it's like I can't escape it. Just like
Right.
you can't escape yours as well.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the services you provide. And I kind of mentioned, we were talking before about Parkinson's and dementia and some of the work you do in those areas.
So we provide, to go back, sorry, people
Yeah.
with disability, people with Down syndrome actually always get Alzheimer's. So I've been working with people with Alzheimer's for over 20 years. So that's a lot. While I'm in the home, we work specialized with dementia. It's really important to have someone in there that can guide. You're dealing with a lot of behavioral challenges. Communication is important. So I also do a lot of education. I'm in the home, I work with the family caregivers, I can do just consults, even if we're not doing caregiving. I do consults in people's homes to work with the family, to work with private caregivers, anything really to help the client. I am part of the Caregiver Coalition. I'm a previous board member of the Caregiver Coalition of San Diego, which also just provides a lot of education, and that's really my passion.
Yeah. Well, and then we talked about that earlier too. I've not seen that before, providing the consultations to the family caregivers. Because that's huge, because your caregivers, while they're with the senior and they're providing the activities of daily living, help and support with those things, but they can't be there necessarily 24/7. And sometimes a daughter or a son, they're picking up where the professional caregiver leaves off. But we don't want to see that. Obviously, the level of care is not going to be the same, but we have to make sure the family members kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah, and the need is there and the desire is there to learn, but a lot of the family members are working during the day, can't get to the Alzheimer's Association for classes. They're just stretched thin. So to really be in the home and do individualized training on behavioral support has just been very well received. It just came of a need. I was doing it naturally, and then I thought, wow, I'm doing it for my families, where the caregivers are there, why not do it for other families? And even private caregivers that often have not been formally trained.
Yeah.
People, they do it from their heart, but there is a lot of training involved and direction, especially for something such as dementia, stroke, Parkinson's. It can get fairly complex.
Yeah, for sure. And we want to make sure that those seniors are well taken care of.
Exactly.
Yeah. So for more information about Aaron Home Care and about Aaron as well, go to his website. It's on screen right now, as well as the phone number to call to get access to their services. If you're listening on your favorite podcast channel, it's in the captions. You can see it there. Aaron, thank you so much for coming today and sharing all about Aaron Home Care. And there's more to learn, and people can contact you to find out.
All right. Thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure.